Hello everybody, welcome to the Stop, Drop, and Knit podcast. This is episode 91 and today I am going to catch you up on all of the cozy things I have been knitting and spinning and naturally dyeing during the last few weeks. Hello everybody. For those of you who are new here, my name is Lisa. I'm coming to you from Long Island, New York, where it has been freezing, beyond freezing. It has been years, I think, since it has been as cold as it is. And I know that it's been this way in most of the country too, at least on the eastern coast, especially in the Northeast. But even the Southeast has been, I think, bit colder than usual. You can correct me if I'm wrong about that, but it's been so cold. I think last weekend it got down with the wind chill to like negative 22 Fahrenheit or something. So I mean, so cold, just frigid. So I have been very, very grateful for my Sophie scarf, which is what I am wearing today. This was finished last week and I still had it on the blocking mats, so I wasn't able to show you its full coziness because it was wet and damp. And this is made out of my bunnies, Felix and Elmer, so it is 100% Angora wool. I naturally dyed their wool with pokeberries, maybe, I don't know, several months ago. Maybe not like a full year ago, but it's been a while. Actually, I think it was about a year ago this time, because it popped up in my memories the other day that I was trying to dye Angora for the first time. So I guess it has been a year since I dyed their wool. So what I did was I took wool from both of my bunnies. So Felix has gray wool. He is a black English Angora bunny, and the black is really gray. They're black as babies. I say this every time, but I feel like if you've not been here and haven't met my bunnies and don't know anything about Angora bunnies, that it's really important context, because you wouldn't think about being able to dye black wool and have it turn into any other color. So when he's a baby, the black English Angoras are black, and then as they mature, after like their first maybe 4 to 6 months, they start growing their gray fur, which is their full coat. And he has a lot of white in him too, so he's really salt and pepper, but his face is still black. So that's where on like his nose. So English Angoras have full fluff on their face too. Not every type of Angora has a fluffy face. I think that's unique to the English Angoras. So they're so super cute. And then Elmer Fuzz is a white, pure white, and he's got blue eyes. And so I just took a mix of their wool and I just dyed it all together. And then I blended it together so that it just kind of, I made it into roll-eggs on my blending board. I carded it and put it on my blending board, made it into roll-eggs, so that it was just kind of a mix of both bunnies. And then I spun it, and I don't remember when I spun it exactly, but I finally knit it up into something. So this is my very first bunny garment that I have made out of my bunnies' wool. So I'm so excited about it. So this is how I'm wearing it today, because I'm just indoors here. But at night when I am sitting over there on the couch and it's very cold because the wind just cuts through, we're in an apartment, I will wear it like this, which is how I think Petite Knit shows it in her pattern. So it is long enough. I don't know how many yards I had. I think I don't remember. I didn't write this down. I'm not a good podcaster for this, but it was enough to wrap it twice, and it's so cozy, so I'll just have it like this most of the time. But it's so, so pretty, and I'm so enjoying how much it's fluffing out. So who knows how well you'll be able to see this on the camera. I'm gonna try and see if, like, facing it towards the window will pick up some of the blooming of the Angora. But that is, and maybe if I hold it this way and you can just see, like, you see all that? Let me move my head. You see all the fluff sticking out from the top of it there. It is the softest and coziest thing ever. And so this is my Sophie scarf. It's my very first ever Petite Knit pattern. I was saying that in the last episode. I'm actually still on my second I've got another Petite Knit pattern, a sweater pattern that I have been working on all month. And these are the first 2 Petite Knit garments that I have ever made. And I'm really enjoying them so far. It's just that this level of floof is amazing. So it's just so soft, and just want you to see the beauty of that. So I'm so happy about this. So that's what I'm wearing today. It's also my first finished object. So I'm just gonna stick this back on because it is a little bit chilly in here. So we're just gonna do this the way that I had it, just like that. And it's just so cozy, except I'm gonna fuss with it a little bit. So I'll just get this. I don't remember exactly how I had it, but there we go. Good enough. So I highly recommend the Sophie scarf. I think most of you guys have knitted already, but it's my first one and I am probably gonna knit it again. I am so glad that I chose to knit it out of my pure Angora. It's the perfect, if you have to work with pure Angora wool, or if you have to, like it's such a burden to have to work with Angora. If you have the opportunity to work with pure Angora wool, definitely I recommend something like the Sophie scarf or the Sophie shawl or any kind of scarf or shawl, because the Angora wool doesn't have any memory to it the way that wool does. So that means if you were to turn 100% Angora into a hat, after the first couple wears, it's just gonna stretch out and get really floppy and it just won't hold its shape. So you wanna make sure that if you're knitting a hat that has Angora in it, that you are combining it with at least 50% of some kind of wool so that it will hold its shape. But yeah, this is the perfect pattern to knit out of my bunnies. And I've actually been doing so much. I feel like I should just go into spinning today, because we're gonna just do things out of order, because I have been doing so much spinning. So I didn't grab any of it with me. So all right, I'll be right back. Hold on a second. I have been spinning up an Angora storm. Look at all of this that I have been working on. It is so beautiful. Okay, so the first things that I worked on, which I had showed you guys last time, is that I had been spinning Elmer, who I had dyed. So I showed you guys these in roll egg form last time. So this is all made with Elmer's wool, and the gold is I naturally dyed the gold with, why am I blanking? Cosmos, thank you, memory. Cosmo flowers from my summer garden. And then I had played with just a small amount of fresh leaf indigo to I had just a small amount left, and so I wanted to see how that worked on the Angora. I cannot wait until the spring. Actually, I mean, I love the cold weather and bundling up in all of the fun knit things. But I am so eager to get my indigo dye garden actually going this year. I started my garden so late last spring. It was already practically May by the time I even thought about planting anything. So the only thing that worked really, really well were the Cosmo flowers. And I did have a little bit of luck with indigo. I had just enough growing in a small pot. And then like a few of them sprouted in the garden, but not too many. So I just have to start the indigo way earlier. And I want to play with like a vat dye for the first time. And it's going to be amazing to be able to add blues to my color palette for my natural dyes. It's something I haven't been able to offer before. If you're new here, for my naturally dyed yarns, I don't actually purchase any pigments. I forage for them or grow them myself. And so I could purchase indigo and play with it, but it's much more satisfying to me if I know that I have put in the work to grow it myself. And I just like to have my hands on the entire process and just have it be something that is completely start to finish as much as possible. And that's what I love about the Angora, because these are from my bunnies, so I know exactly where the wool is coming from, which bunny it came off of. Some of the wool I have pretty good notes on what year the haircut was from, but usually I'm combining things so it all just gets mixed together. But it's amazing. So this I had spun a couple of years ago, like a year and a half ago, on my drop spindle. So this is what Elmer looks like, his wool, the white. And so you can see the difference when you hold it right next up to the white, that you can see that little bit of teal from the fresh leaf indigo. So when you do a salt rub to the fresh leaves, you get much more of a beautiful teal color than the typical deep indigo blue. So I love both. I think the fresh leaf color is so beautiful, and I can't wait to continue experimenting with that. But I also want to grow enough so that I can experiment with a vat and do like the traditional indigo leaf dyeing that I've never done before. So this one I spun on my drop spindle also. I just dropped one of them. It wouldn't be the Stop Drop In It podcast without dropping something. Anyway, so these two I spun on my drop spindle. And I haven't, these are pretty thick and thin. I haven't tested, I haven't laid out the thickness yet or done like wraps per inch to see, is it a sport weight? Is it a DK? Is it worsted? But I will. I would say that this one, which I did on my spinning wheel, I'll just hold up this one. This one is really thick and thin. And so this is probably between a worsted, an Aran, maybe even a bulky. And so this is all that I have of the gold. It would be perfect for a Sophie scarf. I don't know the yardage, so I don't really know if it would be enough. You might be able to eke out like a really, really small, just barely get it around your neck Sophie scarf. But yeah, so I have these, and this was everything from Elmer Fuzz. This is one that I did also like a year ago. This was just a sample I did. And this one is Felix and Elmer in a 2-ply. So I have one single that was Felix, one single that was Elmer, and I plied them together. And so this is what they look like in their natural state, combined like that. And so that's like what my Sophie scarf would be, kind of something like this, except it was combined in the wool, in the dye bath, and then carded before it was spun, whereas the bunnies were spun separately first for this one and then spun together. So a little bit of a different look, but kind of that's the idea of like what the pokeberries did to change the color of their wool. And so I did, so last time I was saying I've got my spinning wheel right next to me here. You can't really see her, but this Penelope over here. I've been really working on my spinning wheel to get better at spinning the Angora. The gold and my Sophie scarf, I had both spun on the spinning wheel, but I didn't do a very good job. I mean, I love it. It looks really great. The finished product is amazing. But the actual quality of my spinning, it was very, very thick and thin. I'll open this up, see if you can see how thick and thin this is. And so there's a lot of variation in it, which it turns out really beautifully when you are knitting a simple garter stitch shawl or scarf. But I really wanted to focus on improving my spinning quality for the next couple that I did. And so I sat down with Felix's wool, and I took my time. I figured out with the wheel that I needed to slow down my feet a lot. That's the thing that I've mostly, I think I've been spinning for about 7 years now, but mostly on the drop spindle. I've had Penelope, my wheel, for 1 year now, but I have not been consistently spinning this past year. But now I'm starting to get into a real rhythm with it, and I'm starting to figure her out and get used to her. And so Felix, this is what Felix looks like all on his own. He's so drapey. Like, you can see just how much drape there is in this. And so Elmer is not in this at all. This is just what Felix, my black English Angora bunny, what his wool actually looks like in its natural state. And I think that I've got probably a sport weight. I'm just so thrilled with, I'm really proud of myself with this one. I think I have 82 yards here. And I'm just really proud with how consistently I spun this. I made a 2-ply again. I've never really done anything else. I've always just done a 2-ply. So one of these days when I get more comfortable spinning and want to branch out a little bit, I want to try a 3-ply and the chain plying technique and kinds of art yarns, and you know, just expand my spinning skills. But for now, my go-to is just a 2-ply yarn. So this is just 100% Felix. And then what I did was I wanted to experiment with making a 50% Angora, 50% wool yarn so that I could make something like a hat. And I'm just grabbing this here. And so this is also dyed with pokeberries. This is the first time that I have dyed actual fiber. I almost said wool, but I mean it is wool. And so this is all pokeberries. So it's kind of like an exhausted gradient here. It is so pretty. So this is a blend of Polworth. I have the hardest time saying this. Polworth silk blend. So this is 75% Polworth wool and 25%, that's right, 25% silk, mulberry silk, I think. And this spins like an absolute dream. I have a picture that I can insert of what it looked like when I spun it up. But what I did was I spun, I had a single of Felix's wool, and I spun this into like a gradient, and then I applied them together. It's so fun. I made this skein. So this is 50% Angora, 50%, I guess it's not really 50%. Well, I'm trying to do the math. So it's 50% Angora. It's whatever half of 75% Polworth, whatever half of that is, 38% Polworth, something like that, and then like 12.5% silk, something like that. I think that's right. If that's totally wrong, I'll fix the math and I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, but look at this. It's so fun. And so I'm really excited to probably make a hat out of this. So I have a goal. Felix has his birthday coming up, and I am going to do a shop update, and I have a whole bunch more Felix. I'm going to be spending this whole next week. So by the time you're seeing this, I think the shop update will be just a few days away, so you should be really excited. So Felix's birthday is February 27th, and today, when I'm recording this today, it is the 12th of February. So I'm getting myself on a more regular recording schedule. Yeah, I'll talk about this later, but yeah, I've got a system now so that I can bring you guys a video every 2 weeks without me totally stressing out about it. But next week is my son's winter break from school, and I plan to spend basically that whole week, other than when I'm teaching and working on my business and stuff, I am basically going to be spinning Angora and wool like the whole week. And my plan is to have my first Angora added to my shop on Felix's birthday. So on February 27th, Felix will be coming to the shop. So I am hoping, I don't know how much I have, but I have a whole bunch more of the Polworth silk. So my plan is to definitely do more like this, depending on what I have, maybe some other variations, like maybe just focusing on like the darker color to spin with Felix and the lighter color to spin with, like, I don't know. I haven't really planned it out, but definitely a couple more like this, because I think this is really, really fun. And hopefully a little bit of pure Angora. I have to figure out the pricing. I have never sold my hand spun before. And so I think what the spinners do is price it like per yard, dependent on what the fiber content is. So I have some figuring out to do, and I'll have to count yardage and figure out what weight everything is. I have all the tools to be able to do that. I'm just pretty lazy about it when I'm doing it just for myself. So like I have no idea how many yards this blend is here, because I didn't count at all. But it's beautiful, and I really, really like it. So I'm so excited about that. Elmer's birthday and Easter are both in April. Easter is early April this year, and Elmer's birthday is April 27th. So they're both on the 27th, which is kind of fun. So I don't know if I'm adding these to the shop. No idea, but I've got plenty of Elmer to spin up as well. Maybe I'll dye some more of Elmer, and I have no idea. I've got a little bit of time to figure out what I want to do with Elmer's wool. But my first Angora update is just going to focus on Felix, because his birthday is in like 2 weeks. He's turning 3, and I'll put pictures in. He's so cute. The bunnies are so cute. But so that is, I talked about that for a whole lot longer than I planned to, but there we go. I have done so much spinning, and I'm going to be doing so much more to come. I'm getting into a real rhythm with it. My spinning on the wheel is starting to be much more consistent. My drop spindle spinning is super consistent and has been for years. So it's really fun to be able to match that a bit more now on the spinning wheel, because that's going to be faster. So I just needed to get the hang of it a little bit more. It's all in the foot motion. All right, so let's see. That was all of the spinning content that I have for you. I have one other finished object, so let's merge on into finished objects. So last time, what I am going to show you right now is what was featured in my When Knitting Attacks section, which I try not to have very frequently for obvious reasons. And what happened was I was knitting these cute candy heart socks by somebody named Emily Grace. I don't know her last name. And I had knit the first one a year ago, and this one, I was almost done with it last time, and I was about to do the color work part and finish off the toe, and I realized when I was sitting here filming that the color work was not at all stretchy, and I had knit it so tight that it wouldn't go over my foot. And so I thought last time that I was showing you like an almost completed sock, and instead what I was showing you was a sock that I immediately needed to frock all the way back to the ribbing and redo. So I think I went a little bit overboard this time, and I feel like I loosened up so much on the color work. Maybe a little bit too much. Obviously, so I actually like just 20 minutes ago, before I sat down to film, finished off the toe. I was like halfway through the toe last night, and then just sat down and worked on something else. I just didn't finish the toe. And so I said, all right, I'm at least gonna bind off the toe, graft it together before I sit down and film. So it's not 100% finished. The knitting is finished. The grafting is finished. I have to weave in the ends, and I have to block it. And then I will have this cute pair of socks as a set, ready to wear. These also are serving as a sock sample for my, what did I call this one? Strawberries and Cream sock set. This is what I still have left over after the pair of socks. And so the beige, I'll just call it beige. It's not really beige, but this base yarn here, you can see there's hints of pink in it. And this is what I call my zero waste yarn category, I guess is the best way to say it. Zero waste. And that's when I'm just mixing, like layering different leftover dyes on top of one another to just exhaust the dye bath if I have a bunch of color left after a main dyeing project. And so this one was pine cones, and then it was, I can't remember, because I did both dyes. I can't remember if the exhaust bath from this one was from avocados or if it was from these Quarantarium mushrooms. But either way, I thought that this particular shade of the pink went so well with this color, because you can see the little splotches of pink in there. So right now I am having a sale in my shop for the whole month of February. So This sale will still be going by the time you guys see this. You don't need to enter a code or anything, but the sale for the month of February is on all of my pink yarns. So everything pink that is in the shop is on sale. And even though this one only has a little bit of pink, because I was featuring it, this was my Valentine's collection from like a year ago that I had put up, and I still have some left over. And I just added it to the shop, and there's some other shawl set similar with like the whole thing isn't pink, but there's some pink in there. But there's a lot of pink yarn on sale that was dyed with the pokeberries, which was the same material that I used to dye my Sophie scarf. If you guys want to see more detail about those yarns, there is a video that I had put up last February. So it's not, I haven't made too many videos since then, so it's not actually that many videos ago, but I did do a deep dive on a whole bunch of the yarns that are currently in the sale. So if you want a closer look at like what certain colors are, how they look with other colors and all of that, you can go back and watch that video that I made last year. But the sale is, it's really great. It's for 20% off of all of my pink yarns, and it's going on throughout the entire month of February. So if you have been wanting to stock up on anything from my shop, now is a good time. If you like pink, and if you don't like pink but know somebody that does, then pass it on to them. But I am so happy that these fit me now, and I think there's like three or four, maybe 3 of these sock sets still remaining in the shop. So if you like these cute sock sets and how these look together, then you guys can grab this on sale for the rest of the month. That is everything that I have finished this week, so just a sock. My main thing has been my big sweater project, so let's move on to whips, and I'll share that with you in a minute. Alright, it is time to get out my big ass bag from Black Pearl Magic. I really love this bag. And actually, as my sweater has grown, it's been really great to put it in the big ass bag. I wasn't so sure I needed that size bag for just all of the yarn. But, alright, so we have made, and by we, I mean I, have made so much progress on my Amy sweater, and I have to see which is the back and which is the front before I hold it up. I think that this is the way it goes. This is my Stranger Things sweater. I am now up to the last 2 episodes of season 5. I am almost there, and the entire Amy sweater basically took me the entire 5 seasons of Stranger Things. So if you want to time, and I've been working on this every single time I watch Stranger Things, I work on this. So 5 seasons it takes me of Stranger Things to knit the Amy sweater. Just for reference, if you guys are wondering, how long does it take to knit an Amy sweater? 5 seasons of Stranger Things, at least for me. This has actually been the only thing I've been working on too. So I am, let's see, I'm gonna back up. We're gonna stand up, we're gonna lean on the chair. I'm almost there, guys. I am so close. Last time I had just split for the sleeves. I have not tried this on yet, but can I tell you, it took me an entire season like to just knit this turtleneck part. I don't know, I didn't expect it to take so long to knit like 8 inches of 2x2 ribbing, but it took me like the last 2 episodes of season 4, which were both like, the last episode was almost 2.5 hours long, and the next to last one was I think an hour and a half. So it was like 4 hours of season 4, plus I only just finished this, and I am on the last 2, so plus the first 6 episodes of season 5. That's how long it took me to knit the turtleneck part of the Amy sweater. This is a pattern by Petite Knit. So again, these are the first. I've got my Sophie scarf and I've got my first sweater, and I'm so excited. I've been in such a knitting rut, and I'm back in it, and the cold weather really helps. So I think I'm gonna make it. Last time I told you that when I had bought my sweater quantity of this, I thought that I was gonna be casting on for size medium, and so I bought the amount of yardage for the size medium, and I instead decided to cast on the size large, and that required, like, I think one or two extra balls of yarn is what the pattern recommended. So I did both sleeves. So what I did was I stopped knitting the body and I knit both of the sleeves, and then I took whatever yarn was left from the second sleeve after that, and then I like continued knitting on the body until that ball of yarn ran out. And then at that point I was down to three or four. Three? I don't know. I don't remember if it was 3 or 4, but not that many of the wool. And it must have been 3, because this is what I have left over now. I have one full-size skein. So this is the perfect purple colorway of the, where's the label? The Peer Gynt by Sandinist Garn, and it's the Petite Knit colorway, perfect purple. These are 50-gram balls, so I have 50 grams plus whatever this is left over. I haven't weighed it, but this is what I've got left to finish off my Amy sweater without buying more yarn. I think I can do it, because if you look just from under the armhole, it doesn't look like I have that much body, and it looks like it would need to be so much longer. But I have learned that, you know, there's a lot of length because of how deep the arms are in the raglan. And this is what I learned in the sweater that I knit for my dad with the Sandinist Garn too, is that had a really deep yoke, which I learned that you've got to take the yoke, and that takes up a good part of the body. It's not just like from under the yoke or under the arm. It's yeah, there's measurements to be taken into consideration. And so I think I'm almost to the point. She says to measure from the back of the neck down to the body, and I think I'm supposed to have like 20 inches, 19 or 20 inches, and I'm right around there. I'm gonna measure again, and then switch to the other needle to do the ribbing. And then I think it's about the similar amount of ribbing as it is on the sleeves for the hem. So I'm almost there. I hope I can do it. I'm tempted. Let me see. I'm gonna try it on. Not right now, but I have tried on tubing. I've never used it, so this might be like a good opportunity to do the try it on tubing and see exactly where it is coming down on me. So maybe I'll do that here on this video before I get back to knitting it, and we can see exactly where it's sitting and how much I have to go. I imagine that by the time you guys are seeing this video that this will be finished, because I'm giving myself a week plus a weekend, so almost a week and a half in between filming and when you guys are going to see it live. So so that I can be on a more regular schedule without having to stop my entire life from the time I record for like the 2 or 3 days it takes me to edit a video and put it out there. And then I've not knit anything in that time because I've been editing for that whole time. And then I feel like I can never get into a rhythm. So I've created a schedule for myself so that every 2 weeks you guys can have some kind of podcast for me, and I will have time in between recording and editing the video to do it at a much more relaxed pace, so that I can come to you guys with some kind of video every 2 weeks and get myself back on a schedule here so that you guys see me regularly on this channel again, because I have not done a great job of showing up regularly, and I love it when I come on. But yeah, this is all, my perfectionism just gets in the way of everything. So I'm trying out different systems now. So I've created a system for recording, a system for editing and publishing, and yeah, so I imagine that I am going to be inserting all kinds of footage about now, showing you the progress that I have made so that we will see exactly how much more, if anything, I have to knit on the body before switching over to the ribbing and binding off. So I really want to make it work with the 50 plus, let's say maybe I have like 65 or 70 grams to work with here. So maybe 75, I don't know. I'm going to be like 65. I'll say 65, 70. So what do you guys think? Am I going to be able to do it? But I'm really excited for this one, especially because it has been, as I said, ridiculously freezing outside. And so this has been the only project that I have been working on. That's why I hardly have any other knits to show you. I do have one other thing. I'm going to show you the hat that I have been working on. So last time I showed you that I was about to cast on for Junka's Quarantarium hat. And I'm pretty sure that this pattern was developed during quarantine, which is why it's called Quarantarium, but I don't know for sure. But this is a pattern that was made to go with this beautiful yarn that was a gift from my parents when they went to New Zealand, and it's called Zeylana Air, and it's this lace weight yarn. I've never knit with just a lace weight yarn before. I've never gone down lower than fingering without it like combining the yarn with something else. So this is a tiny gauge. This yarn is gorgeous. Wait, let me see what's in it again. It's possum, and so New Zealand possum. See, my husband didn't know this. I didn't know this either until I heard about possum yarn on the Thank You for Knitting podcast. Alana, her podcast is amazing, but she is from the United States originally, and I think maybe Michigan or Wisconsin, like somewhere up north. But she lives in New Zealand now, and she owns a yarn shop, and she does beautiful knitting. And I don't know if it was this particular yarn that she was talking about or a different yarn that had possum in it. And my husband didn't know. When I told him I was knitting with possum, he's like, that seems like it would be like super scratchy. And yeah, the American opossum, I don't think any of us would want to knit with opossum. But I haven't even Googled this yet to see what these bushtail possums look like. So I'm going to insert some pictures of what a bushtail possum is, because I actually don't know and I want to know. And so anyway, it is apparently like, so, I mean, apparently, I mean, I'm working with it now. It is super soft, but the blend is, blah, blah, blah. What is it? The blend is does it say the percentage? Yeah, here we go. It's a blend between, it says blended cashmere and brushtail possum down. And then here we go. Where is it? Over here. Here we go. That took me a while. It's like on the inner label right here. Oh, you guys can see that, but I was like looking for it, couldn't find it. So it's 40% cashmere, 40% brushtail possum down, and 20% mulberry silk. So this is a luxury yarn, and it says that it is softer than 100% cashmere. I've never knit with 100% cashmere, and it's been a while since I've even touched cashmere that's not been in a blend, so I'm gonna take their word for it on that. But the unique property about the possum, the brush tail possum yarn too, is that it is pill resistant, so this won't pill ever. And so I'm not too far, but it's better now. It was not enjoyable to get going because of just the tiny gauge. I'm on a US 2 needle for the ribbing. It's so beautiful. You can tell I like this color. Like, my mom picked out a good color combination. I'm almost done with the ribbing. I think I have 3/4 of an inch to go, maybe 1 inch. I think I'm supposed to knit like 2 1/3 inches. So I think I have less than an inch to go on the ribbing. But I only cast this on. It's so nice, that color. I just love like when the light shines on it. Only cast on for this a few days ago, and have only picked it up, I think, the day that I cast it on, and then I worked on this last night for a little bit just to get a little further on the ribbing. The size of the hat is one size fits all. I guess it's like an adult medium. I mean, it looks like it'll work. And apparently, if I do everything correctly, I should be able to have enough to knit 2 hats. So I can do in this combination, and then I can also do the inverse of the colors so that I get like 2 hats for the, you know, with just the 2 balls of yarn. So I don't know if I'll do that, or if it might be nice to knit a pair of like fingerless mitts or mittens, maybe fingerless mitts, to go with it. So we'll see how I feel after I've knit the pattern. So I don't know if I'll have that ready to insert any more footage of that in this video as I'm editing next week, or if it'll just have to be a surprise for the next time. But that's everything that I have been working on. And I have one acquisition that I am excited to share. So yeah, let me go grab it. So my acquisition is I got Summer Lee's new book, The Sock Obsession. I love when sock books come out. I don't have all of them, but I have many sock books, and yeah, I always seem to gravitate towards just knitting the same sock patterns in like self-striping yarn over and over again. I've branched out a few times and knit a couple like one-off like cable patterns, or like one time I did, what was it called? It was some kind of like sock knitting, I don't want to say like championship. Why can't I remember the name of it? This was before the pandemic. Like this was maybe like 2018, 2017. It was a while ago. What was it called? I bet I can figure that out if I look in the project pages that I did on Ravelry. I bet I can figure it out that way. So I'll put it on the screen. I will look it up in editing, and future me will put it on the screen. But yeah, I tend to just knit the same vanilla sock patterns, or like just easy ribbing all the time, and just don't think about it too much, because usually a sock is just my take it with me project. I haven't really knit socks in a long time. I mean, there was the one that I just showed you, but like I knit one of those socks a year ago, and I just finished the other one now. And I think all of last year, I maybe knit one other pair of vanilla socks for Owen, which I've shown you recently, that he won't wear because they're pink, and pink is no longer his favorite color. It was for like 2.5 years. So I have those now, and we have the same size feet, so it's good for right now. We can share. And then I did one other sock, which is still just a half finished object because I haven't knit the second one yet. So I've been out of my sock knitting. I haven't had the mojo for socks in like the last few years. I've been really on a sweater kick, and I've gotten more into shawls and things. But I had an accident with my sock in the wash, most of which were okay because most of the socks that I've knit are superwash. I had a couple that I did with my non-superwash yarn though that shrunk, that made me really, really sad. They shrunk and felted, and I can't wear them until I reknit them. But so I have some sock knitting to do. I have some sock mending to do because I don't know if it's the bunnies chewing little holes in my socks, because all of a sudden in the past like 6 months, I've got like 3 or 4 pairs of socks with holes in them. And I don't know if it's because the bunnies get to them somehow and just like take a little nibble and then they develop a hole, or if it's just because my socks are so old because I've been wearing the same hand knit socks for like 10 years. Anyway, I was excited. I'm excited. I'm getting back into wanting to knit more socks. And so I was really excited to pick up this book. I have her first book too, and I haven't, it's somewhere, but I have both of them. I haven't like knit. I've knit one pair of her socks, but it wasn't like, it was from before she released her book. So the sock obsession, I thought we could just do like a little flip through and I'd show you a few of the patterns in here. So this is so cute. She's just got like this picture of all like her socks folded. The back of the book, she said, I'll read you the back of the book, says, and look at like just how colorful and fun. You guys, I love color. Like you can see, I love color. So, you know, bright and colorful. She's got Summerlee has a fun little YouTube channel too. And, you know, she likes to play with color in her socks. And so it's right up my alley to try some of these. But the back of the book says, every sock lover's favorite designer, Summerlee, returns with a new book to help you build your knitting skills in fresh and exciting ways. Try your hand at boot socks and ankle socks, loafer and cuffed styles, and 25 new patterns. The book includes cable, colorwork, lace, and textured designs, a brilliant range of color combinations, modern styles, and whimsical motifs. Mushrooms, lobsters, sheep. I'm definitely for the mushrooms and the sheep. Lobsters, take or leave the lobsters. But, and it just says easy to follow instructions for making dozens of different looks. And so I flipped through it, and there's so many in here that look interesting to me to knit. And I thought, I'm not going to show you all of them, but I mean, just look at the pictures. Isn't that like so fun? I love it. So here's like a few I can show you, like this group of pictures here. So there's those little lobster socks. So they're cute. Like a little nautical theme there. All right, so then she breaks the book into different sections. And so this first section, chapter 1, is traditional socks. And I mean, I should probably be like doing the camera like down looking at it, but I'm just gonna hold it up because I don't have time for fancy recording. So yeah, so there's like some simple colorwork socks like these there. Some little Aran sweater socks is what she calls these. So the little cable socks with cute little cuff work there. Here's actually a closer picture of what that looks like. So, I mean, I'm sure that she probably shows all of this on her channel, but, you know, in case you haven't found her channel and haven't seen it, just figured I would Just do a little flip through. I actually really want to make these. This is called the Channel Island Socks. And this just has a whole bunch of different stitch patterns to it. Move my face there. And that looks really fun. So that she just uses like a light speckly yarn and does a contrast toe for that one. And so those look really fun. She's got like what she calls a fisherman fade, which I'm assuming is fisherman rib with like, you know, like a fade technique there. So that's cute. All right, and then she's got chapter 2, which is modern art socks. And so this is the picture that goes with that. These are so cute. Like these must just use little scraps of yarn, and I am already envisioning a way to use like all of my little mini skein sets plus all of my, like I can use these socks as a way to pair like my mini skein sets from my mushroom dyed yarns, where I only have enough to have just little 20 gram mini skeins in them. Also leftovers would be amazing for that. And so she calls those the color block socks, and I'm sure that she's just using scraps for those. They're so cute. I mean, this is what they look like on her feet there. So sweet. And then there's like a little twisted trellis socks with a little lace side action there. Cable-y, lacy, not lace, cable. You know what I mean. These are so beautiful. She calls these the Escher socks. This pattern and the color work on these, don't those look just so gorgeous? They're so nice. Yeah, and look at how fun these look on her feet. Isn't that's so cute. So yeah, my Barnes & Noble had this, so I just picked this up recently. There's a couple others in here. I'm not going to show you everything. And then, all right, she's got everyday socks for chapter 3. And I need just some more everyday socks. These are really cute. These she calls the Lopi sweater socks. And so she's kind of done this cute little cuff color work based on like a Lopi sweater design, which is really sweet. These are her like flock socks, so just those little, like the little flea pattern. This is super cute. And then she's just got some ribbed trouser socks. Like these are so basic, but like different from anything that any ribbed socks that I've knit. So cute, I love it. And then, oh, broken bow socks. So this looks like it has like a cable pattern. I don't know if you guys can see this one, but the cable pattern is broken up, but it's on such a dark yarn. So I don't know if that's going to come through on camera, but it's like a bit of a cable and then not doing the twist and then more of the twist and then not twist and all the way down. So just, I love all of these. Like I could see myself making probably every pair of socks in this book. Does anybody want to have a Summer Lee sock obsession sock knit along? I'm sure she's probably doing one, but we could like do one on this channel too. That could be fun. Let me know if you guys want to do that. I haven't done a knit along in such a long time. And then of course my favorite section is the whimsical socks, and yeah, so I'm like really into Charlotte Stone and all of her whimsical socks too. Like there's so many socks that I want to knit. So yeah, I'm trying to branch into the colorwork socks, and sorry, I'm getting distracted by flipping through. So these are the sheep socks. I just have to work on my tension because every time I've tried to knit colorwork socks, like I eventually get it right, but it takes me a while to get there. So I definitely need more practice. And these are so cute with me with my mushroom foraging and mushroom dyeing. So like I feel like anytime there's a mushroom motif in a sock, I need to use mushroom dyed yarn to knit them up with. So that's probably going to be a thing. There's these cute little bumblebee ankle socks. How cute are those for spring? Right? There's so many fun things. So Oh my gosh, and then there's still one more chapter. Chapter 5 is Summer's signature socks. So this is probably like the summerly socks that we know and love. These are really fun. Oh, two-way striped socks. So these are stripes, but she does this in okay, she does vertical stripes and horizontal stripes. Look at that. That's so clever. So that's really fun. Those are fun too. I don't want to show you everything. These are her French coat socks. Basically a little cable action on the cuff and then some stripes. And yeah, those look super cute. And then some subtle block socks. So like a basket weave kind of situation. I think that's no, and then these, all right, these are the last ones in the book. Yeah, these are fun. All right, this is the last one in the book, so it's the last one I'm going to show you, but Nordic Bright socks. Look at these. Look at those socks. Don't those look so fun? Amazing. And so she's got, I just want to show you like her, so this is like this 2-page spread. Look how fun that looks. You guys, let me know, should we do a knit along to this book? Maybe we should do that. Let me know what you guys think, because it might give me motivation to work my way through this book. Maybe we can do like a year-long thing and we knit like at least 4 pairs of socks from this book over the course of the year. Something like that. Maybe 6. 2 months per pair of sock. Let me know what you guys think. So, okay, that is everything that I have to share with you guys today. I mean, there's more. I've got some yarn that I have recently wound up for casting on, but I didn't want to talk about those yet today. So I've got some new things ready. I've got like a hat and another pair of socks actually that I have wound the yarn for that I am going to be casting on soon. So you've got those to look forward to. I'm going to be doing a whole lot of spinning. And I think, you know, when I get done with my Amy sweater, which is probably done, if you've gotten to this point of the video, it's probably done by now. Then I have a couple, I've got more sweaters that I want to cast on, but I think what I'm going to do is pull out a sweater whip that needs to be finished. I've got a really fun cardigan that would be the perfect weather to get back to right now. And that involves steeking, and I've never done steeking. So I'm so close to finishing the body, and when I finish the body, I'm gonna have to do some steeking for the sleeves. So I think that's the one I'm gonna pick up next. I also have one other sweater that just needs sleeves. So probably one or both of those projects are gonna be on the needles again really soon. So yeah, I'm trying to just, I think I'm trying to be less perfect. I've realized how much my perfectionism brain just makes me stuck. And then I'm doing things, but I'm not showing up on social media, on YouTube, and I like showing up. I like when I'm sharing the things that I'm doing, that gives me energy, and like hearing from you guys gives me energy, and it's just so much better when I'm here and I'm sharing. So leave me a comment if you guys liked this episode. Let me know if you want to do a summerly sock knit along, and don't forget that I've got 20% off in my shop through the end of February on anything pink, plus I will have an Angora update with Felix's wool on February 27th. So keep those, keep that in mind. And I'll put my shop on the screen at stopdropandknit.com. And please be sure, if you're not following me, to follow along and subscribe to my channel and like this video, and mostly just leave me a comment. I love getting the comments. Those make my day so much brighter when I have a comment to respond to, and I know that there's somebody on the other end of the screen. I'm really good about telling you guys to leave me comments, and I'm really bad at leaving comments on other people's videos, so I'm completely a hypocrite. But please leave me a comment, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. You can expect a video from me every 2 weeks at 8 a.m. on Sunday mornings. So until next time, thank you so much for watching. Stay warm. Bye.